Alright boys, welcome back to something that we haven't done in quite some time, and that is story time. So welcome back to another story time. This one is a bit more embarrassing, as you could probably already tell by the title, but that's okay. I don't mind sharing slightly embarrassing stuff. I imagine we've all been there before, been exactly where I have been. As you guys know, I've been smoking for like 10 or 11 years, and this video is about the very first time that I ever puked from essentially just taking too many dabs. Before we get into it, I do want to give a shout out to the sponsor that allows me to be able to do stuff like this, videos like this, because YouTube does not pay weedtubers. Shout out to JK Store for being the sponsor. They have all kinds of really good flour. I am smoking some of their flour right here. They've been having $42 ounce sales compared to their 50. They're having all kinds of cool sales just constantly, really. And honestly, they're always rotating their flour, which I find really cool. But shout out to them and cheers. So yes, for those of you that don't know, I do live in an illegal state, and have my whole life. Like, yeah, I've lived in a bunch of different states, but every one of them that I've currently or lived at the time was illegal. So getting things like concentrate was not super easy back in 2015, 2016, especially in the smaller town I lived. When I was like a senior in high school, like concentrates started becoming really popular, and I mean, I see why, of course. And they are crazy. Like, if you know, back in the day, you weren't smoking carts, you were only smoking flour. So when you literally try this new form of THC concentrate that's, you know, I don't know, 2-3 times higher than your flour, yeah, it's pretty fucking intense and crazy, and you feel like a first-time smoker all over again. And my story is no different. I obviously ended up puking off of it. I took it a bit too far. But first we got to start how I even got to that point, obviously. For those of you that don't know, whenever I was a senior in high school, I've talked about this before, I did live in South Carolina. I lived with my friend Wesley. Well, I lived with my mom, but then she moved back to where we used to live. And then I stayed there, and me and Wesley lived together. And then we graduated high school. Now, he wanted to move, so obviously I wasn't going to move somewhere else in South Carolina, so I just decided to go back to my parents. And kind of just figure out what I was going to do or where I was going to go. Well, in that time, I'm working, and I've talked about another person, T-God. They were an old friend of mine from back when I was like 16 that I just met up with again when I was 18, like probably, I want to say like late 2015, maybe early 2016. I think it was like, I would say it was like a little bit after summer of 2015 that I met back up once I came back there and was working. And we were smoking a lot, and he was my plug. He was the plug, bro. Like, he was getting concentrate. He was getting all kinds of stuff that I honestly had been wanting for a long time. We were already homies, so I mean, obviously we always hung out. Now, he was like pretty big into concentrate, but more into flour. He didn't really have a rig. Because rigs were really, really expensive back then. Getting a titanium nail, all that stuff was at least $100, $200 if you just wanted an okay piece, to just be completely honest. So we used the next best cheap thing that we could, a nectar collector. And this nectar collector was pretty trash. It was just like a rubber fucking nectar collector with a titanium tip, essentially. And this was pretty much my introduction to dabbing. This wasn't my first time. I did make a video about my first time dabbing. I was essentially in like a crack house with somebody, and it was probably one of the most intense smoking experiences to this day. And so anyway, I think I had work that day. It's weird, I can't really exactly remember what I did all throughout the day, but I of course remember this. I remember that it was nighttime. I remember that me and T-God were hanging out. I probably did work that day, to be real. And anyway, so it was nighttime. I come over there, and he had just gotten all kinds of concentrate. Like, he had gotten shatter, butter, fucking all kinds of stuff. Not diamonds or anything, because we hadn't seen anything like that yet. Because keep in mind, we were in an illegal state. So if you were in California in 2015, like, you probably just started almost getting introduced to carts. Concentrate was crazy. I'm on the literally other side of the world. Nowhere's even really legal yet on the East Coast, heavy yet. And yeah, so we're back like 10 years. We're still in like fucking 2008, 2006, getting really shitty looking concentrate and hitting it at an absurd heat. So yeah, obviously we're taking this torch with this small little fucking titanium nail that's literally just around silicone. Don't really see how that's safe. And just back and forth taking dabs while we're also smoking joints with wax around it. Like, we're going crazy, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely, when I was younger, abused the plant, and definitely smoked that shit like a fucking fiend or like a crackhead. Like, I would literally sit there and just go through crazy copious amounts for no good reason, bro. Like, and you know, I'm not gonna hate. Like, if people want to do that and they have the money, that's completely awesome. But I did not have the money to be smoking the amount that I did. Like, I had the money, I paid for it, but like, bro, I was being dumb as fuck, essentially is what I'm saying. Wasn't paying attention to my bills, wasn't paying attention to the fact that, you know, I'm now an adult and like literally have to get my own place, do all this stuff. I'm 18. I was being dumb, right? So I'm fucking a fiend. I'm like, we're smoking so much, we're matching, using all this concentrate. And then we just start taking dab after dab after dab, playing Skate 3. I'll definitely remember that because Skate 3 is always so fun. Like, bro, I was obliterated already. Like, by the time that we were just taking dabs, like, I remember I had already been coughing so much and my eyes were just so, like, bloodshot and watery and kind of just, like, so low because I just kept coughing so much, bro. It's like, it was almost hard to open my eyes. It's like if you go out in the sun with, like, your pupils dilated and it's like, you feel like you can't even open your eyes. Like, that's essentially what I felt like. And I was like, bro, this is crazy. And I kept coughing and coughing and coughing. And obviously T-God thought that it was hilarious. He was taking it like a champ. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and act like he was bad down with me. Like, nah, bro was a fucking champ. I was going through it. I definitely had not been taking dabs regularly. So this was new to me. And it was really heavy. Like I said, it was like 3 times as potent from what I've just been smoking like for a couple years at that point. So I'm new to this still, essentially, bro, because like I wasn't even really smoking a lot till I was like 16. And even then, comparing it to how I do now, like I still wasn't a lot then, because at 16, you know, when you start, or I mean, hopefully not 16, 18, I mean, you know, just whenever you start, or 21, I don't fucking know. It's like slow, and you usually live with people, and it's like you can't, and it's like you can only do it on the weekends or with the homies, but like I'm literally here in my house with nobody here, smoking a joint by myself. I would say that I had just been into smoking like heavy for like a year, and now I'm getting into concentrate and like a lot. Like, I'm taking a lot of hits. So I'm blasted out of my mind. I take a couple more. And this is where I fucked up. This is why I puked. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and get into it, because I'm sure you guys are like, what the fuck? This has been going on forever, I feel like. So, like I said, it was a little titanium piece, and the hole was like okay size. So like, you were taking okay hits, nothing too big. I fucked up. He had it in a puck. I didn't think about pushing it straight down. We just kept heating it up, and heating it up. So I just kept accidentally pushing down, not even thinking about it, because I was just so baked. And I had taken such a big hit. And then on top of that, I had gotten, because as you guys know, with those fucking nectar collectors, bro, I always end up getting wax somehow on my mouth or in my teeth, and it's the worst. It just ends up like flying back. And I had literally had one like kind of burnt go through the back of my throat, and then I'm coughing on top of that, and I'm like trying to drink water, and I literally am coughing so hard that it feels like my fucking stomach is going to blow up. It literally feels like it's going to rupture. And then I run outside and I just start fucking projectile vomiting everywhere over the guardrail. And I know that, I think there was like somebody out there as well, one of the neighbors. Because it's like a small shitty little apartment. It was a 1-bedroom apartment with like 4 people right next to each other. And one of the dudes, pretty sure he was out there, and he was like, oh bro, were you drunk? And I was like, no bro, I just took like way too many dabs. And he was like, oh, can't relate. I didn't even think about like that I had to puke. I just wanted to get up because I was so hot and sweaty from the dab sweats, that being in my throat, chugging water or whatever I was drinking. And it all just got way too much, and I just fucking puked everywhere, bro. And it was just really, really rough. I felt fantastic after. Like, I felt great. But yeah, I mean, I just literally puked, or I puked. I literally just coughed way too much till I puked, essentially. But I mean, that never happened before. The only other time that I'd gotten really close to something like that, I've talked about this as well, is like the only time I greened out from smoking way too much fucking Reggie weed, like nasty weed on top of good weed. But I literally ate a bunch of pizza, and all that smoke and the heat, it just made me really sick, you know? And I think it was pretty much the same thing here, because I had chugged water or whatever. It was probably soda, because I like used to drink soda a lot. And that would make more sense. Maybe the carbonation with all the coughing. I don't really know, bro. It was disgusting. T-God thought it was fucking hilarious, obviously. I mean, I didn't think anything of it. I literally went right back in. Well, I didn't live there, so I didn't brush my teeth, so I know that's kind of nasty, but went right back to smoking. Like, I just swished out my mouth with some water, sat there for a little bit. I know I smoked a cigarette because, I used to smoke ciggies all the time, bro. And that's fucking disgusting, to be honest. I really wish I would have never done that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what happened. I took too many dabs way before I should have been doing dabs as much as I was, and the consequences of my actions happened. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this story time. Sorry it's been a little bit. I've just been really busy with traveling, doing other stuff, hopefully working on bigger stuff. But thank you guys for the support of the people that do like these videos, that want to learn a little bit about me and my lore and my background and just all that. I really have like so many more stories. I have like 5 stories that are fucking crazy that I just have not even used yet. I want to use them when I get a bigger audience. But yeah, till then, I'm gonna keep letting you guys know little crazy shit that happened when I was smoking. Like I said, I'm sure some of you guys can relate. We've all been there. Just maybe coughing too much, getting too hot, something, you know what I mean? But anyway, if you guys enjoy the End Bumps, send your own to chillydillyendbumps. I fucking love you guys. Be safe.